Hello and welcome to jobskillshare.org. This video is actually a sequence of videos that I create every year about Active Directory training. So some are direct training and right away I start training, and some I talk a lot because this is a learning platform. So if you're into just like directly learning Active Directory, then I suggest you to go to jobskillshare.org, register for free and take this course for free, which is about 3,000 people already taking, 3,888. So just take this course, and this is kind of like where you're going to learn everything from scratch. But on YouTube, it is like a trend that I keep following every year. So if you type job skills share, and you can see the top videos are Active Directory 200K views. 2014 I created one, in 2016 I created one. So 2018 I'm creating another one. Now I have already created the one about how to create a domain controller on a virtual box, and this time I'm going to create a whole new environment for domain controller because you need to practice hands-on. So you have multiple options to do this type of training. One, you can do it yourself by just doing it on the desktop or PC that you're using, and if you have a space like or a memory like I have, then it should be easier. Even if you have 16 gigs, I think it should be easier. As you can see, this is a 32 GB RAM machine, it's a very powerful machine. If you don't have, you have 16 GB, you can still do that. Put a virtual box, and if you want to know how to do that, then just type jobskillshare.org in your YouTube and type virtual box domain. Just type that, and you see set up an Active Directory domain controller in VirtualBox. That is a really cool video if you want to do it on a VirtualBox. Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to do it on a VMware. And the reason I want to share VMware because our next feature that we're going to implement to our members, that we will provide you a full VMware backend access with 32 GB or 64 GB with a big server like this, and you should be doing this on your own. Why are we doing this? Because as an IT person, this is exactly you do at the backend level. Okay, you need to learn these skills. How do you get to this VMware? How do you need to put as ISO in there, and how you need to put domain controller and servers and everything, and then you need to practice on it. This is why we choose to do the backend and give you just direct access with some software application, so you're not getting confused. You're just directly focusing on your learning. Remember guys, this is a learning video, so this video may be a little longer and talking a lot of things because this is for people who wants to be an IT pro. This is not for someone who just wants to come in and say, oh, this guy is just talking about domain controller, VMware. I don't need to look at this stuff. I just need to know how it's done. So this video is not for you. I don't want to sound rude, but this is for learning purposes, okay? So here you go. We are going to provide you this type of access, and in this video you'll just learn, because this is kind of like a demo I'm doing. So I have a VMware Esxi, and to explain how this is done, it's basically a big server, like a physical server like this. I bought it from Dell, and it has let's say 64 GB RAM or 32 GB RAM, and then has 12 cores, and all that stuff is done in it. There's no OS on this. There's no Windows operating system, Linux operating system, nothing like that. So VMware come with its own operating system, and I'm not going to go into detail of that. So basically, I will explain that when we turn this feature on for everybody. So you install this ISO. ISO is like a virtual CD, like basically like a small software, or you can download it and burn it to a CD, and then that you can run a machine from that CD, or you can actually install the ISO, and then you can do like installation of virtual machines. So in this case, I basically got a USB, and then I burned this ISO files into USB, and then I connected the USB to this physical server, and then this becomes this VMware Esxi that they call it, okay? And that's how I'm accessing it now. So once you get access, basically you need to download ISO files itself. ISO could be from anything. So if you want to get a domain controller, you basically go to Windows, Windows site, and then you just download the ISO for 2012 or whatever you need. I have shown that video, in all that process in the VirtualBox video, so I'm not going to do that in this video, just to keep things a little quicker. So To create our first virtual machine, we need to confirm that we have the ISO. So I'm going to data store right here, and then I'm going to click on data store browser, and I see that I have already uploaded it. So once you download it on your machine that you're using, you can just go to the VMware and then upload it directly to your VMware from your machine. So you can see I have it right here. Okay, so 6 GB is a pretty big file, and I have some other ones too. So the first VMware virtual machine to create on a VMware, you simply need to go back to your host, and then in there you can see you have ability to create a machine from here. Just click on create and register a machine, click on next, and here I'm going to name it DC because that's what we want to create. Compatibility 6.5 is okay. What operating system? It's Windows, and then which type is it? I'm going to say it's 2012 or 2 or 64-bit. So here you go. This is the 2012 16. Let's just do 16. I think 16. Sorry about that. It's 16. So I'm going to click next. And then we have data store that's telling you that this is how much space you have, and then all that stuff. Click next. And then customization, what do you want to do with it? How much memory you want to give this domain? 4 gigs of RAM is fine. 4096 is 4 GB. 40 GB is fine. I'm just going to keep that. And then it says connected the network. So VMware create its own virtual network. And then the CD ISO. Then this is where you need to pick the ISO file. If you had a CD directly connected to that server, then you would just keep this host device, and then if you have ISO, you just click on that and then pick that ISO file from here, and I'm going to click on select, and now it's selected, and then you can just click on next, and I'm going to click finish, and that's it. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our virtual machines. In virtual machines, it's just added that, and now we need to start it. As you can see, power on. And when you want to see this in a full screen, you can simply click on this console, or you can right click on here, and then you can also open the console from here. And you have multiple options to open this in a browser, in a new window. So I'm just going to do in a browser like this, so I can see the screen. And there you go. This is Windows 2016. I'm going to click next, install now, and now it is going to start installing that Windows Server. So I'll see some other like features, like maybe licenses and all that stuff. So this is more about, if you know about Windows servers, you just need to pick which one do you really want to install. A lot of people go for data center, and then if you want to go for this one, this would be a core. So on the right side, you can expand it a little bit. Desktop experience gives you more of a GUI, and if you just pick this one, it's going to be like a core. So I'm just going to pick the GUI and click next. And in here, you'll accept the terms, click next, and then custom install, because we want to do it fresh on that 40 GB. And then you'll click next. And then the installation will stall. This is pretty quick. You'll just finish all that stuff. The reason I'm doing this is that I want to show you, if you're going to get this lab, you can do everything from scratch. So let's go back a little bit. What you have learned in this, just by doing this simple video, you now know that an IT professional, most of people, 90-80% will be using VMware virtualization, and then the second top one would be Hyper-V. So what I did today is something that we have to do normally on normal basis. You as an IT person, entry-level person, may not be able to do this type of stuff unless you work for some company and you're the entry level support for virtualization, or maybe you're the entry level support as a junior system admin. So you may be doing this on a normal basis, like you get a call from some customer, say, hey, for this developer, can you create a computer, a virtual machine or something like that. Now this video is focusing on Active Directory, but since I'm waiting for this time, I want to explain all these things, that this is the reality, why we are going to give you this lab, because you're going to learn these type of hands-on skills. And while you're taking this lab, you will have videos on the left side where you can watch the video and apply all that. It's going to be like a learning management system for you, okay? So I'm going to stop this video and let it finish so we can get to our Active Directory stuff without. Alright, everything is done. Just click on restart now, and that should restart this new server. That we need to make it a domain controller, and that will be your Active Directory environment where you can practice. practice as in help desk, create some calls for yourself. This is where you're going to have access for 30 days. You'll be given scenarios that, we have a new user. Can you add that person to Active Directory? We have a scenario where a person is locked. Can you unlock that person? And as an IT person, as a help desk person, that is exactly what you do on Active Directory environment on probably daily basis. Um, if not daily, you're working on Active Directory almost in a week. I'm sure you're going to be working on it for something. Someone will call you about name change. Someone will call you about Active Directory password. Someone will call you about, some weird issues, and then you need to find out when this person password is expired and all that kind of stuff. And joining computer to a domain, new computer setup almost every week. You will have new users that you want to set up a machine for them. So many different scenarios that we're going to create for you, and then even though this course is very powerful right now, if you go here and take the Active Directory course, which we have all these things in a sequence, but having something like this for 30 days will give you even a hands-on and more confidence that now you can do so much with our systems, and the learning process will become even more real with this feature. So here you will just type the password. I'm gonna go ahead and give it the normal password. Okay, and that's it. The server is almost ready. And then you will see the all control delete. You can just click on action, and sometimes if this is not working correctly for you, you can use the browser. There are multiple ways to see the console, but you can see all the information from here, send keys, and then you can click on all control delete. There are other ways which we'll discuss later on, but for now, this is where you can get information. So now the server is a basic workstation right now. This is not connected to any network as a domain controller because we want to make this server a main domain controller. You're going to be installing Active Directory on this server. So as a practice, if you don't have too much RAM and resources on your machine, you can actually just practice on Active Directory here. But the real practice is going to be when you add more virtual machines. Think of these virtual machines as offices and even virtual environment, and you need to add the other machines to this domain controller without even having issues. And adding users and all those practice that you're going to do on Active Directory with using different tools, connecting it to Active Directory and all that type of skills, you need to have multiple machines to be able to really, really say that you have a hands-on practice on Active Directory. Okay, so we're just waiting on this to come up, and then we're going to make this a domain controller. So the first time when you connect, it's going to have its own IP network and everything. We're not going to set up any DNS or any advanced level stuff. That is something that we will cover on in our system admin course. In this course, you just want the Active Directory to be working. So the first thing you may want to do is to turn off the firewall just to have no issues. So in this one, this is just a lab environment. Of course, you won't be doing this in a real world environment, and we don't do this in our courses, which are kind of really focused towards more of a system admin type of learning. So you will see the firewall option in here, and then we're just going to go ahead and click on it, and then we're going to turn off all these firewall profiles in here. So as you can see, inbound, just click on the right controller here, go to properties, the advanced properties, and in each profile, I'm just going to go ahead and just turn it off for now. And then I'm going to do another thing is that I want to give access to this computer. So then when I join other computers, I would like to be able to talk to this computer by going to remote settings. And you see it says do not allow remote. You need to make sure that is allowed. And this one can be checked because we're going to be using other machines like Windows 10 machines and other thing to connect to this machine. So I'm just going to say apply, and then that's it. Now what we need to do is to in a real world environment, you need to rename this machine because you cannot rename it after domain controller is set up. So this is something that you need to make sure that you have a naming convention, right? A lot of people use DC1, DC10, 102, DC B. Really depends on you. So I'm going to go ahead and click on change settings just to make it easy. I'm going to call it DC. It's because this is only one domain controller in this example. And then I'm going to click on apply and then click OK, and then I'm going to restart this machine. Actually, did I really change that? It should have been okay. Computer description is only changed. That's not the name. That's a mistake right there. Go to change, and then here you will change the name over here and just type the DC. You should get a prompt when you change the machine name, and that's where I realized that I'm doing something wrong over there. So I'm gonna click on DC and then click OK. It should prompt for a change of the computer name. There you go. And I'm just gonna go ahead and restart the machine now. So now it's gonna have its own name, DC, and that DC will become a domain controller for my lab environment. And then in this video, I'm not going to show installing a different machine, but of course you will install a different machine and you'll try to add it to this domain controller when we configure everything. So I'm going to show you that quickly now. Okay, we're back on and I'm going to go ahead and log in again. So now we're going to make this a machine domain controller after doing some setup. We're going to go ahead and just wait for the server manager to come up. As soon as you start the server manager will automatically pop up. You can also go from the start, but I'm just going to wait for it to come up. Here's the server manager. When you click on start, there are multiple other ways that you can get to it. We'll discuss that in our server course. So server manager comes up, and then what you need to do, you need to install by going to manage, or you can click on the roles right here. But I'm just going to show you two ways. You can do it from here, or you can click from manage, and then it will start. So add role and features, and then you click next. Okay, and then you see the name is DC, and this is the IP address. And then here, what you will do, you will click on Active Directory Domain Services. That's what we need to be able to add an Active Directory to this machine. We're going to click next, and the rest is just click on next, next, and you just need to finish it. And we'll just click on install. It may give you options like, warnings like DNS is not installed and all that kind of stuff. Since this is a lab environment, the DNS will be installed on the specific server. You don't have to worry about all that stuff because you're not learning about system administration or server administration or doing all that type of crazy things right now. All you're trying to do is to create an environment where you can practice your Active Directory. While this is happening, and this feature is not available to our members right now, this is to show you if you have your own VMware and you can do this on your own. But if you're interested in actually learning about the server stuff, since I already talked about it, this is the feature that we're providing 100 plus labs in our premium membership. So if you go to membership, you can actually buy the premium membership. It gives you 100 plus labs and 200 plus courses where you can actually learn all about the server administration and MCSA and all that type of crazy stuff. And then you can come back and actually use all these labs that has on PDF. And you can see right here, this is one lab that I'm showing, administrating Windows Server 2012, which is going towards exam 7411, and that covers every single thing that's in that exam right now. So one thing that I want to point out, because I'm doing Active Directory, maintain Active Directory in progress, and this is where you, if somebody have that question, can I learn about the stuff like a system administrator or a junior system administrator, where would I do that? This would be a perfect lab because it has this domain controller already set up. You can see if I click on it, this opens up the server. You can make it, maximize it, and all that kind of stuff. And then you have a member server 1, member server 2, Windows 8 machine, Windows 7 machine, and in one lab environment you have so much for 1 year. So this is a 1 year access. You get access to so many different things with that membership. Like if you want to prepare yourself for Cisco, you want to prepare yourself for CompTIA, you want security, Microsoft, so many labs that you can save tons of money by actually getting just this lab. But if you prefer just keeping that full access, because this is a time-based access, you can see it's 46 minutes in one session, so I can make it go back to 60, but you have to do that in a day. So basically, you don't have option to keep this lab for like 30 days, and that is why we are offering this option now. We're offering this option to come up and say, hey, now we're offering we're saying that, hey, we are offering a full 30 days access to an environment. I don't know why this came, but here features installation completed. We're going to click close this. It's still not a fully domain controller because you have to promote it. As you can see, promote this server to a domain controller. You need to click on that, and then this is where you need to put information, because this is a new domain controller. We are going to have to add it as a new forest. And here we're going to call this domain controller a root name. So basically we're going to call this jobskillshare.org. That's correct. So I'm just gonna click on that. You can always put like something jobskillshare.local if you don't own that. And here you'll put a password, whatever you like to put in this lab environment. It is up to you. You really don't need all this stuff, like, to learn about this stuff, because you just want to know how to get to the Active Directory on your own. Then you just click on next without even knowing what you're doing right now. I'm just trying to show you, if you ever want to do your own Active Directory and just have a control over your Active Directory. So this is where it will come up. You can shorten this name if you want to. I'm just going to call it JSS1, and let me just call it something different because I might have a different domain. JSSA. I'm just going to click next. And now what we're going to do is to finish this installation. I'm going to click next again and next, and then this will finish promoting this machine as a domain controller. So we're going to have one domain controller here. This is exactly what's happening here. This is a domain controller that is already in this lab. Every time you log off from this lab and come back or turn on any other lab, you will always have a domain controller already ready for you. So think about saving the time that I just did for past 20 minutes. I've been preparing that with talking and everything. You can save that time by just getting these labs, and you won't have to do all that stuff. But again, it is also important to learn those type of skills from scratch, because you as an IT person will be doing that. These labs are perfect for you to come back and practice on something really advanced like DNS setup, DHCP setup, and you don't want to get stuck in an environment where you have to make everything from scratch. So this is where this is a perfect combination. You learn your skills, the basic skills on these type of labs, and then when you try to move on, you try to become a more advanced system engineer, then you use other ones because you already know the basics then. So I'm going to go ahead and click on install here, and this will become a domain controller. So there you go, everything is done. It's just going to tell you that it's going to get restarted, and you just wait for it to restart. And I can even just do this, restart. So right now this machine will become a domain controller. So unfortunately what happened, the voice stopped working, audio, so now I'm on making a recording on top of a recording basically. So here's the deal. I'm going to put a username and password here after I restarted the machine. I'm going to give a password again, and I logged in, and this is the first time you are logging into the domain controller, and now this is like a fully working domain controller. One thing I forgot to add in the beginning was actually, when you change the name of the domain controller, you can also put an IP address, like a static IP address, so then it will never change. But even if you forgot that step, and it is smart enough to put the 127.0.0.1, which is your local IP address, that every time it changes, you basically will not have to worry about it. If you have an automatic IP, it changes, then you don't have to worry about it. Then also, when I'm right clicking and going to the computer management, this is another way to know that domain controller will not have a local user management anymore. So when it becomes a domain controller, you will not see a feature here as I'm showing that. And when I close it, I can go to basically tools. In the tools, then you can manage all the username inside the Active Directory and computer section, users and computer section. And then I'm explaining right here that this is where you will learn all the other skills like group policy management, and you can like watch so many videos on our partners content, and then when you watch the video you can come back here and actually practice that things that you have learned. So here I clicked on the username and computers, and this is where you have an Active Directory fully installed, and you can now add domain administrators and anything that you see in that course that I showed you. You can actually go back to that course and apply every single thing that you have learned over here. And not only that, you can actually search on your own because you'll have 30 days access. And this is not the only thing you're going to be doing in this course, because this is a full entry-level IT course. So that is going to just be one section that you're going to be doing. Maybe after this you will be doing software deployments. Maybe after that you will be doing more of like troubleshooting. Maybe after that you will be doing like remote management. You will be installing some software to even learn more skills. And so this is where your practice will start. Okay. My whole goal of this video is to show you that if you have your own system, you can put a ESXi VMware on it or VirtualBox on it, and you can put your domain controller, and then you can start playing around with it. Now after this, you will add some users over here, you'll play around, and this is just kind of like basically showing that it's working. And what you will do next is that you're going to put more virtual machine just like I did. Now, instead of making them a domain controller, all you have to do is to go to your settings. Inside the settings, you will basically type the domain controller name, which is going to be that JSSA. You're going to be using that. You will type it, and then whatever username that you have just added over here in Active Directory, as I'm doing right now, you will make it a domain administrator. As you can see, this is what I'm doing right now. I put domain admin, and now I added that. I can even give it more access here, and then this username will be used when you get prompted on an extra machine where you're trying to add that machine to this domain controller. You will type the username of this that you have just added and the password, and then it will say bling, you just added to this domain controller, and now everything will be manageable from this Active Directory. And that is the whole key of this video, and I wanted to show you guys that you can do it yourself if you have the system. If you don't want to invest that money, you can use our lab, which is going to be a full course. It is going to be a full course. Now here I'm explaining something that if you want to get internet access on this machine, first time when you add a domain controller, what will happen is that in the DNS section is going to add that 127 address, as you can see right there. But what you can do, you can also put a Google DNS, which is 8.8.8. When you put that DNS in there, you see on the right side that little triangle of internet that you don't have access, that you have limited connectivity. What will happen when you put the Google DNS in there and you click OK, then you will start getting access to the computer. This little yellow sign will go away. So let me show you that right now. I'm going to put 8, and I did a mistake over here by putting another 8. So I was just being too lazy. So now I remove that another 8, and now I put 8 more, 8, 8, 8. So that's 4 8s right there. When you put that in there and you click OK, that is the Google DNS. And then when you click OK, on the right side, you will see that triangle will go away in just a few seconds. So this is where you can just use it for like internet. If you want to download something on this domain controller, you can actually do that. Okay. So that's it. As you can see, it went away. Let me just confirm. 3, 2, 1. There you go. Alright, so that went away. Now the whole point of this video was just to show you that you can put a domain controller on your VMware and practice on your own. And of course, this type of lab will be available with our whole system for you to finish it. You will get the certificate at the end, just like in our other courses. And this is going to be a very, very hands-on type of course. 30 days is just kind of be like, you want to become an IT pro, let's just do it the real way, let's just do it the hands-on way. And then once you're done with everything, once you see all this hands-on stuff, let's just take you back to the 100+ labs so you can prepare yourself for more advanced certification. Once you're done with that, you can do more of the videos for lifetime access, and that is where you will learn every single thing in IT for a long, long time, because we want to keep you as a member so you're happy that you are in some system where you can always come back and rely on. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in a different video. Thank you.